Hey guys, welcome back. This is Bernard from the BTNHD, and yes, my performance review on the Lenovo YOGA Tablet 2 running Windows 8.1. So let's get to it. So hey guys, so I'm actually using a remote assistant session so I can get into it. Because in the past when I ran the benchmark stuff, it kind of killed the recording. So let's get to it. So I normally do the ADIA 64 Extreme Edition. That's how I do all my benchmarking for you guys. So let's get into the sensor. I like going to the sensor and the overclock. So I'm going to go to overclock as first. As you can see, the CPU clock speed is only 533.3 megahertz. I think you could clock it up to 1333. I don't recommend overclocking tablets because you're not going to be doing it for like hardcore gaming, so there's no point for that. CPU again, guys, it is a quad-core Intel Atom CPU, which is 1.33 gigahertz. That's what it says right here. Quad-core. Next thing I like to do is the sensor. So let's check out the sensor on the tablet. So it's detecting all the sensors. As you can see, it has 4 cores, and it's running between 23 and 26 degrees Celsius, which is not bad. I'd be a little concerned if it was a little higher than what I'm seeing right now, but then I'm not really utilizing as much power. The CPU right now is only running 30 degrees Celsius, which is okay. That's not that bad. Motherboard is pretty cool. I haven't put a lot of stress to this. But the battery right now, voltage on the CPU core and the battery is pretty low. I'm running right now 92%, and it's pretty good. I'm going to show you guys a little chart of battery usage as well as charging time, and I was super surprised on the battery charging time. So the next thing I normally like to do is memory. So let's check out the memory. Total memory size is about physical memory right now is 2954 megabytes, which it's, let me see, let's click on this. Let's go to Task Manager and let's go to Performance. And right now it is only available 1.7 gigabytes. So the device itself has about 2 gigs. It's okay. It's only utilizing right now about a gig. Free is another 1 point something gigs. Utilization is only 40%. Again, I'm not really running any hardcore stuff. The only thing I'm running is the DIA64, and I'm not really benchmarking. I'm just showing you guys the specs of it. And performance on the virtual memory is pretty good. So let's get into physical storage. Physical storage is pretty cool. A lot of these tablet devices are broken down into different partitions. You always got a MS recovery. The MS recovery is pretty awesome, especially on the Windows 8.1 side, because it allows you to, if something's wrong, you can actually reset it into factory mode, and that factory mode reset is what it uses the recovery partition. The next thing I love to do is let's run a system test. So I'm going to go to Tools, and we're going to run a system. I normally like to do a stress CPU. So let's stress the CPU for a while. The last time I stressed the CPU, I did about 2 hours. And after the 2 hours, it ran like a champ with no problem. I think the Intel Atom processor, the quad-core, runs pretty well for this tablet. So I'm gonna stop this. For now. As you can see, the temperature and the CPU temperature didn't go as high. It was okay, and we only did it for 53 seconds. But imagine me doing it for an hour. We don't really have that time. So I'm gonna stress the memory out. Let's do a system memory. Let's stress that out for a little bit. The CPU's usage goes up. Eventually, it goes down little by little. CPU throttling is always flatline to 0. Never get a result on that. But the temperature is pretty straightforward when you're dealing with the memory because you're only stressing out the memory. So let's uncheck that. Let's stop that. Let's stress out the local disk. Let's stress that out and see if we get anything. If you're stressing out the disk, especially if you're rendering stuff that needs hard drive space, the CPU usage is not going to be capped off a lot. So if you're the writing and reading between the hard drive is amazing. So I'm actually going to stop this for now, And let's close this and let's go to tools and let's do a disk benchmark. I'm going to do a retest suite for you guys. I'm going to start that up. I'm going to let that run for a bit because I want to show you guys the speed of the reading and writing of the hard drive. So I'm going to go to tools again and let's do a cache and memory benchmark. And let's start this up for a bit. I want to see what the write, the read, the copy, and the latency is between the memory. Because memory for any particular device, computers, laptops, is very important, especially for servers. If you're using an application that utilizes and needs that memory, if the memory cannot read and write fast enough, that's when machines start slowing down. When a lot of people have issues with computers, it's because they lack memory. So let that run for a bit. I think it's running a little slow because if I'm not mistaken, my benchmark for my disk is running. CPU, it's being stressed for the read, beginning, middle, and end. So you got 3 phases of the reading. And the CPU is only going to be utilized 25% throughout the entire read, which is not that bad. Results is between 1.63.7 megabytes per second. That's not that bad. That's not that bad. So that means copying stuff over will be extremely fast. And it's still doing the buffer read. Buffer read right now, the block size that it's pushing out is 4 megabytes. So let's see the results. I'm going to minimize this for a while. And let's check out the cache and memory benchmark. So the memory latency is 147.5 nanoseconds. To me, I think that's a little high. It'd have been cool if the numbers have been a little lower. But the L1 cache and the L2 cache, and the numbers are right there. I'm kind of surprised that the L1 cache was only 1.9 nanoseconds. Because the last time that I ran it was on 0.9 nanoseconds. So I think the more that you use the tablet, I think the more the memory is going to lack a little bit. So let's go back into the read. Average read access is 0 milliseconds. And usage on the CPU is only 6%. So the reading of the hard drive is excellent for this tablet. So I'm going to close that up. I'm going to close this up. And the last thing that I want to show you guys is the battery test. I love doing these battery tests for you guys because with a lot of these tablet devices, especially laptops, tablets, phones, the major thing is battery life. Battery life is very important because if it runs out quickly, it's useless. On this tablet, out of 100%, I started around 748 on the 11th of February. And a couple of minutes, already 2% down. And it's just me downloading, going inside network share, opening up some files, connecting the Bluetooth keyboard, setting myself up to do these reviews and play around with the tablet. Between 8:23 and 8:51 a.m., which is around 30-ish minutes, it went down really fast. And the reason why is because I was checking out the specs and I was running the AD64 Extreme benchmark stuff. So it went down really fast. As you can see, I was using this tablet mostly like a consumer, not really like a techie person. So you will see in my chart that I'm doing a lot of sleep mode. Sleep mode is just pressing the power button, just turning off the display. But every time you turn off the display, it doesn't consume a lot of power, so that's pretty awesome. It did kind of consume a lot of power when I turned it off at the night, and I woke up the next morning, and it was 38%. When I turned it off at 10:32 p.m. overnight, when I woke up and I got to work, I turned it back on around 7:49, and it was down 38%. So that's a long time for it to lose 2%, and it's not really being used at all. Throughout the day, I was just using it like a regular person, surfing, checking out weather apps, downloading stuff, reading the news, and the battery life lasts for a while. Now, again, when I did the performance review on the 10.1 inch, you get the same thing, the same warning at 6%. It completely shut down on me at 2:01. So, but look at the time. that I got the warning. I got the warning around 1:53 in the afternoon, and it did the complete shutdown at 2:01 in the afternoon. So it gave me between 8 minutes to do what I needed to do. That's enough time for you to start saving, backing up your stuff, and then let it just shut down. Now the charging was amazing. I was super impressed with the charging. I think due to the fact that it has a huge 9600 milliamps. Plus, it has the same battery capacity as the smaller one, and the smaller one took a little longer. I don't know why. That's kind of strange. But the video is going to be at the description, so you guys can check out the performance review on the 10.1 and kind of compare, because the battery charging time for the small one was longer, and this one was pretty fast. Again, 8:16 on February 13th. It was on 6% because it died on me on around 6%. And real fast, 4 minutes passed. I already got 7%, so it's like 1% for 4 minutes. So I kind of worried me a little bit. So I left it be, and I would say around 4 hours, 3 hours and a half, 4 hours, you could get a full charge. If you want 50%, it would take about an hour and a half, which is extremely fast for to get half a battery life. Especially if you're like in the run and you're low in juice and you just need to plug it in, get 50% so you can continue working on the road. I think the tablet works really well when the charging speed. Other than that, guys, that is my performance review on the Lenovo YOGA Tablet 2, 13.1 inch, running Windows 8.1. If you have any comments or concerns, leave them at the bottom of the video at the comment section. Don't forget about hitting that like button because it does support the video as well as this guy. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.